Hi guys, Steve here, and I'm going to show you my multi-purpose taming cage. I built this originally to help me tame dinosaurs when I was playing solo. This is an elaborate final version, so yours can be more basic, especially when you're starting off when stone's hard to get. I'll start by walking around it to give you a chance to see how I built it. The main structure is set up in a T formation. You have two dino gates opposite each other to let the bigger dinosaurs in. The slope section at the front was added because the ground was on an incline, and it needed the extra tiles so the dinosaur could step on it. It's mainly built out of window sections so you can easily shoot the dinosaur within, and the door each end allows entry from either side. Have a quick look around. This main section is to capture the larger dinosaurs, while this side area is your escape route and the trapping pens to easily tame ape men, and I'll show you how to do that later. I've put two escape doors in case one gets blocked, and you'll also need the doors for when you're taming the ape. Above in the centre you have the ape taming room. There's a ladder and doorway each side to get to it. It's completely enclosed so people won't know you're in here and you're safe from attack. The holes in the floor are for you to lay down and feed the ape from above. The ape will only aggro if you're on the same level next to it. However, if you're above it like this, you can get as close as you want and it will never aggro. Then the windows all round are to look out of if anyone comes close to you. And windows to look in the main taming pen. I've built this cage on foundations, and that raises it up. So to put me at the correct level to shoot through the windows, I've put foundations next to every window to put me at the right height. I put ramps at the side so I can easily walk up on them, but if you can't place a ramp, it means the step's high enough for you to walk on, and that lets me shoot inside. To save on resources, you don't have to build this on foundations. The normal fence foundation will do. That makes it less high, so you don't need those side platforms. But if you use fence foundations, the building might be a bit uneven height-wise. From above, you can see its T formation. If you want to copy the design, just replay the start of the video again. Then you can work out its dimensions and what materials you'll need. I'll now show you different ways to trap dinosaurs, starting with the easier ones when you're lower level. When you're a beginner and don't have a bird, aggro a raptor, then get it to follow you inside the cage. Once it's in, run through the side exit, which it can't fit through, then run round and close the main dino door, trapping it inside. Close the exit door just so it moves away from it. Then you can safely trank it and knock it out. And because the walls are made out of windows, you can shoot it from any angle. Then just keep it narcoed and feed it until it's tamed. One thing to keep an eye on is when the dinosaur passes out, sometimes a part of it will fall outside the cage, so you might want to put spikes there to stop wild dinosaurs attacking it. For bigger farming dinosaurs like a trike or stego, you use the same method. Lead it inside the cage, then escape through the side, then go round and close the door behind it. Find a good place to trank it, then keep shooting it until it passes out. You can find out all the best harvesting dinosaurs here. Again, when this one collapsed, its head was sticking out, so make sure you protect it. When you want to tame a bird, build thatch ceiling tiles, then place them at the top of a cage. It's a bit high up, so you'll need to jump to place them. I built this cage right next to a mountain, because using it to tame birds was one of the main reasons for building it here. You'll get a nice flat roof if you build your cage on foundations like I have. The thatch roof is cheap and the bird won't be awake long enough to knock through it. Then fly to a mountain and kite back a bird. If you're a beginner, you should first tame a pteranodon and use that. The best way to kite a bird without damaging it is to let it hit you, fly forward, then let it hit you again. Obviously you'll need enough health, but the wild birds don't do that much damage, and it's the best way to keep its aggro on you without losing it. Lead it into the cage and then lock the doors, then quickly trank the bird before it kills yours. My argent's got a lot of health, so it's going to be fine, but if you're on a low level terror and don't want to leave it in the cage, fly through the other set of doors as well, then close them quickly, then run round the back and close those, trapping the wild bird inside. Argents are pretty easy to kill by mistake, so what I do is use my highest damage crossbow to start with. Keep shooting it until it starts to show blood. Then before it seriously gets injured, switch to a lower powered bow. The more bloody it gets, the longer you wait between each shot. I usually give it about 6 seconds between each arrow. It's dodged the last two. It's trying to fly away, so it's low on health and about to pass out. Don't shoot it in the head at this stage, as it will do too much damage and might kill it. That was easy, and it's got quite a lot of health as well. The fastest way to tame is to feed it kibble. That's the dinosaur's superfood that tames it in a fraction of the time and gives it many more levels. However, I save that for the highest level dinosaurs. Once you've finished taming birds, fly up to the roof and remove the thatch ceiling. Once that's done and the top's open, then you can close the doors and drop dinosaurs into the cage. Flying long ways with a beak to the door, so you've got a bigger area to drop a dinosaur in. There's no way for it to escape, so just get off and start shooting it. The biggest thing you can capture in the cage is a T-Rex. Inside at the back, place 2 pillars 2 high. You'd be able to move through them, but the Rex won't be able to. Now go and kite a Rex to your cage. It's slow at turning, so make sure it has a long straight run up. Stand between the pillars, because if you get caught at the side, you won't be able to get out. Once it's in, close the door. When you've got it trapped, so start shooting it. If it turns around and looks like it's going to break the pillars, just close the door and shoot it from the side. Headshots are going to be more effective on something this size. And another one knocked out. Okay, now we come to the main reason why I built this cage. For the life of me, I just cannot tame those big apes. No matter what I do, I keep aggroing them and wasting hours and hours of time trying to tame them. So the easiest way I've found is to use my purpose-built cage. Get in his face and make it mad. You want it to go ape. Then banana split out of there and kite it back to your cage. Get there as quick as you can, so no monkeying about. If you've got a Quetzal, like most of the other dinosaurs, you can just pick it up and then drop it in the cage. Lead it into the entrance, then go around and close the door behind it. I was lucky for this one to stop raging by the time it got here, but if yours carries on raging, just give it some space. Everything's made out of stone so they can't break anything, and wait till it calms down. The next job is to try and trap it in one of these side compartments. Use wood doorways to trap it in that area. Then the next stage is to use a stone doorway and trap it in a stone square closest to the exit door. Mind you don't get too close now and aggro it. Once it's trapped, do not go far away from it or it will despawn, as it's still classed as wild. Once that's secure, you can remove the wood doorway. Now for the finishing touches. It's going to take a while to tame, so I'm going to keep my argent inside the cage to keep it safe. Be careful not to get too close and aggro the ape. At the moment, the door closest to the ape is facing outwards. You want to face it inwards. That'll give the ape less room to move around and trap it in the corner that you want. Now we need to get above it, but don't use a ladder right next to it or it'll aggro it. Instead, use a ladder on the opposite side. Close the door and you're safely locked inside. If you're with a teammate, you can get them to take the bird back and no one will know you're in there. Next, lay on the floor so you're closer to the ape and try and find its feed me message. Because we opened the door inwards, it mostly gets trapped in that corner. Place the berries or the kibble in the 0 slot on the action bar. So when the feed me message turns blue, you can press E and feed it. An important thing to remember is that you only can block it in with doorways, and to keep the door next to it open. Because there's a gap in a doorway that you can get through, it believes it's free, so it carries on walking around in its small cube and gets hungry. If you close a door and use a normal wall to block it in, it will know it's trapped and won't walk around or get hungry, so you won't be able to feed or tame it. It will constantly move back and forth between each doorway. Instead of following it, just stay at one and it will keep moving back to it. It appears that whatever doorway you move to, it will then move to the opposite for the majority of the time, like it's trying to get away from you. So just hang over the side with the open door and that'll keep it in position. That's basically it, so here's a little trick you might like. You know where the ape's going to be, and all you have to do now is press E to feed it. Instead of waiting at your keyboard, bored to death for hours and hours, what you could do is set a macro up on your keyboard to constantly press E for you. You know the ape's going to keep moving into that position, so if your keyboard pressed E every second, you're bound to feed him. And because you're safely locked up in this room, you could go away and watch TV, which is a lot more enjoyable than sitting there all night pressing a key. I'll speed time up so you see that it definitely works. There's one feed. And there's another. And it will carry on like this until it's tamed. Well, that's it guys. Thanks for watching, and if this has been helpful, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the links of other helpful videos at the end, and hopefully I'll see you again. Goodbye.